Master Sergeant Scott Carmack. I'm with the 563rd OSS at DAVIS-MONTHAN Air Force Base. Angel Thunder is a search and rescue exercise. It was initiated by the Air Force about 6 years ago, and since then has grown into a multinational exercise that invites many different countries to come and participate in many different facets of search and rescue, whether it be search dogs, aircraft, whatever they can bring to the table, we could use for the search and rescue portion of personal rescue. What we're doing here today is a humanitarian, a non-combat situation that will incorporate a mass casualty exercise for the, today we have the U.S. pararescue personnel, and we also have a Swedish ranger team with a search dog participating, and they'll be searching for anywhere from 8 to a dozen patients today to locate, treat, triage, and then reload up on aircraft and get back to the necessary facility for further treatment. What we are doing up at this altitude is to simulate areas around the world where we work that are of high altitude, because we are at about 9,000 feet here. Work environments are different at high altitude for the teams, for the dogs, for everyone involved. Whether they want to come in by parachute, whether they want to land an aircraft, however they want to employ their personnel to get here, you always have to take the altitude into consideration as far as aircraft, personnel, whatnot.
If we can start off with the hardest question first, which is basically your name and your position.
Name is Kyle Ray Sauls. I'm the Angel Thunder ground boss for the exercise. The Angel Thunder is based around personnel recovery. Basically, personnel recovery is just defined as rescue. Any way we can rescue somebody. In this exercise, we consist of rescuing people in a humanitarian background. Out here in Gila Bend, we're doing more of a combat search and rescue mission, like down aircraft. And then we're going to go over to Playas, New Mexico, and do urban rescue. Angel Thunder goes over a span about 2 weeks. We have all the services involved. We got about 16 different countries that consist mostly of Singapore, some countries over in Europe, the Swedes, Swedish mountain rescue team with their dogs, and some guys from Netherlands. Well, basically we're training like we fight. When you go overseas, right now you have all these different units that we participate with, and now we just get more familiar in the exercise environment. That way when we go overseas, Afghanistan, Iraq, or wherever, and we meet up with these other coalition forces, we're used to working with each other. We can talk together and work on the ground, and we can talk air to ground and make sure we coordinate any type of rescue we need to have. Well, I was a part of the Angel Thunder when I was active duty. I retired active duty pararescue right here in DAVIS-MONTHAN with the 48th, and participated in Angel Thunder back then. And then now since I retired, I'm actually the Angel Thunder ground boss, coordinating all the pararescue around the world to include the other services and coalition forces. This is an exercise for the U.S. forces and the interagencies. What I didn't mention, all the interagencies we have, is just for us to be able to conduct anyone that's in trouble around the world, whether it's in peacetime or wartime, for us as a military force to be able to come in and get those people and help them to safety. Yeah, we planned this thing for about 15 months. The cycle is a 15 to 18 month cycle. So while I'm not doing the exercise during these 2 weeks, I'm out here in Gila Bend doing site surveys for drop zone, as they're going to do here today in about an hour. The Special Forces is going to do a drop out here to the live fire range right behind us. We coordinate all the live fire ranges, land use agreements with Luke Air Force Base, with all the national parks around the state, and the different lakes. We did an operation up in Lake Roosevelt. So the job consists of all the finding new sites, challenging environments for the teams to train out of, and then doing the land use agreements for all those, for the military to be able to use those facilities. And then I go around and I recruit all the different units. I go out and recruit the Marines. We try to recruit the Navy. We make sure that all the pararescue forces are interested and have time to come out here and participate in this, to include the interagencies. We have all these interagencies. The Border Patrol is right down here on the border. They're going to be participating next week with their special operations part of the Border Patrol, Bor Star for search and rescue, and Bor TAC for Border Patrol Tactical. They'll be participating out at Plias as well. And Angel Thunder, it just started as a weed, and every year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think this year we have about 16 countries. So pararescue as a whole, and rescue as a whole, Air Force rescue, you never know who you're going to be working with when you go overseas. And we have to be able to be familiar with all these different countries and different organizations.
Perfect.
All right.
Tech Sergeant Nicholas Brock, the 106 Rescue Wing, West Hampton Beach, New York. I'm here to support pararescue, and basically I'm their parachute rigger, so anytime they jump, I inspect and repack all their parachute systems before they can re-jump them. Reason for today was mostly for research training opportunity to airdrop some all-terrain vehicles, a new rigging system for infill of PJs and their equipment. So the purpose for Angel Thunder is to simulate the forward operating location. So it's the closest thing that we have here in the United States to an Iraq, Afghanistan type of scenario. Here in Arizona it's great because they have the mountain ranges so close to the desert floor. So you can do multiple training missions from day to day. You don't have to travel too far. My team actually consists of 6 guys, including myself, and we're basically here just to support in any way possible. We give them the capabilities, just like if we were going overseas, to regenerate their assets and be able to do multiple missions on a trip. If we weren't there or here, every time they jumped, they would use up a parachute or a system or a quad, and then they would never be able to use it again until it went back to home station and got reconstituted. So having us in the field is beneficial just because we're able to rebuild and reconstitute. Well, we wanted to watch the airdrops, the PJs and their ATVs come out of the airplane, make sure that the system operated the way it was supposed to, just so we can go back to home station and give our senior leadership the warm fuzzy that everything works as advertised and they can depend on it when they have to send it overseas. It was perfect. It was beautiful. Everything came out, the airplane exactly the way it was supposed to, quads and operators flew to the ground beautifully. There was low wind, so nothing traveled too far, and it hit the ground and started up, and PJs were able to move on with their mission, so it was flawless. Angel Thunder is, obviously, the Angel is Guardian Angel, so it's rescue, combat search and rescue, and humanitarian. Just basically a training opportunity for all the rescue assets worldwide to come together to one specific place and work together, get on the same page, and run through some training scenarios before they have to do it in the real world.
For the Joint Interoperability Test Command, I'm supporting a program for the Director of Operational Test and Evaluation. We're doing mission thread-based assessments during exercises, and we are here doing an assessment of the personnel recovery mission during Exercise Angel Thunder. My name is Gary Maynard. I am the Chief of the Homeland Security Branch for the Joint Interoperability Test Command, which is a part of DISA, the Defense Information Systems Agency. We are funded by the Director of Operational Test and Evaluation to do mission thread-based assessments during COCOM exercises. And what we do is we look at the end-to-end processes of missions. We study them extensively during the joint event life cycle, during the entire planning process of the, it's hard to breathe up here, of the exercise. And then we deploy to the exercise with a team. Usually what we look at is not, there's not a lot of field element to it. We look at the people, the processes, the systems of specific aspects of a mission. The fact that personnel recovery is, it's a multifaceted mission because there's the planning, then the deploying and the reintegration and the whole 9 yards. And the fact that we have enough people here that we can look at the entire mission from end to end. But a lot of times that exercise will look at things like time-sensitive targeting, but we can't look at that entire process because it's so massive, and we don't have as many people to get at the right points during the entire to check out the entire thread. So we'll kind of neck it down a little bit and try and find aspects of the process that are, through talking with the warfighter, where do they have challenges and what it is that they're trying to do. Where is it any gaps and seams in their processes, and things that hold them up, things that keep them awake at night. So, like using the time-sensitive targeting expensive, maybe they have issues with the find and fix phase or the bomb damage assessment phase. And so then we'll study down on that. We'll get on both sides of it as we go to the exercise. We'll understand all the different mission scenarios that they're going to be doing, find the ones that are relevant to some sort of a time-sensitive targeting thread, and again, then get down onto the area that we're looking at, and we'll look at it from the people, the processes, the systems across what's called the .mil PF spectrum, which is doctrine, organization, training, material leadership, personnel, and facilities. As we do our assessments, again, we're looking at the systems, we're looking at the people. We're not metering systems or looking at it from a bite in, bite out perspective. We're looking at it mostly from or solely from an operational perspective and the perspective of the warfighter, so that as issues arise during the execution of an exercise, we'll have established a relationship early on with the warfighter, that the guy that's sitting at the scope or the computer or whatever that's executing that part of the mission, and let them know that as things go on, let us know when you start having challenges, things that are messing up your processes. And then we'll develop a dialogue regarding that specific process. We'll try to identify workarounds, because workarounds, a lot of folks. I met a guy at a red flag back in 2005 that had a 3-inch binder of workarounds. He was one of the big network guys. Mm-hmm. And my question to him was, who else has all this stuff? He said, well, this is mine. So he had so much corporate knowledge just in his head and in his 3-inch 3-ring binder, that would have been beneficial to anybody that, if they had this information in their hand during the exercise or, in real world, and, I can't get this working or that working, flip through a book, here, I have a potential fix, let me try it and see what happens. So we try to capture these things, and we look at things from a operational impact perspective. And to take it a step further, too, the decision-making tree, okay, you have... because we also look at information assurance as another part of it, infiltration of the networks, the opposing force getting into the networks, perhaps taking information, any kind of information be valuable to the enemy, troop, deployment schedules, or whatever it is. So they get this information, and so let's say a specific system had been infiltrated. You go to the commander and tell him, sir, our systems have been hijacked. What's he going to do from a decision-making perspective? Is he going to continue to follow on what he was doing, or is he going to is that going to alter his thought process? Okay, if I thought that they were here, if a common operational picture, the bad guys went in and raced all the red tracks, okay, and the commander didn't know that, if he were to say, let me get these people, let me get them up going in this direction, but that just happens to be where all the red tracks were that were erased, it could be bad. So, how would that affect what it is that he's doing as well, too? So it's operational impact and the decision-making processes, and we provide our analysis to the combatant command, and it goes to Director of Operational Test and Evaluation. They look at some of this from specific systems that are on the DOT&E oversight list, depending on what the program is. A lot of times it's funding issues or whatever. So to get some things resolved, so if we can shed some light on it and make it, put the spotlight on it and let them know that here's an issue and here's where we think we know what the problem is, and perhaps they can get funding vectored to that to try and resolve these issues. We don't fix anything. We just try to get down to the nugget of what actually is the issue, and then hand it over to people that are smarter than us that know how to fix these things. So that's kind of it in a long ass nutshell.
Yeah.